Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are going to get started now. This is the Metzger Kindergarten Kickoff and Information Session. We have lots of good information for you tonight. Just a reminder, at the bottom of your screen, you can see a little chat boxes and it says Q&A, and that's a place where you can click at any time to type in your questions, and we are going to do our best to answer all of your questions tonight. If we cannot answer your question tonight because we don't know the answer, we will definitely get right back to you by email as soon as we have your answers to your questions. Also in the chat, our amazing Thor has linked the YouTube link where you can watch this streaming live on YouTube if Zoom is not doing well. Okay, next slide, please. As I said, we're going to go over some of the great details with our Metzger kindergarten team tonight. We're going to introduce you to the whole support team, but most especially our kindergarten teachers. We're going to talk about our daily schedule, go over the Metzger Kindergarten Connect meeting schedule, talk about supplies, talk about picking up your child's iPad, and then social emotional learning, literacy, and hear from our PSO president. At the end of our presentation, I'm going to ask you to stay on if you're interested in information about two-way immersion. If your child is in the bilingual program, we're going to cover all that information after we close up from PSO. Next slide, please. So welcome to Metzger. Many of you may have older children that have already been through Metzger, but if this is your first Metzger Mustang, we want to say welcome. We are a very tight-knit community. We are a diverse community. And if we're totally honest, it's breaking our hearts that we aren't welcoming your children in the hallway right now and having all that good kid energy. Normally, we would have a back-to-school night and a kindergarten barbecue where we could see you all in person and really get to know your family. So this is our next best thing. We're having this big presentation over Zoom and YouTube, but also know that you're going to have a one-on-one meeting with your teacher that we'll talk more about, where you're going to get to ask all of your questions. So if you leave this meeting tonight with a few more questions, know that you'll have time with your teacher where you can really dive into exactly how you're going to do school this year. In the corner of the slide, you'll notice that we have our main office number and our email. Anything you need, you use that number and that email. And if we don't have the answer, we'll get you to the right place. So just remember that throughout the year, whatever you need, those are the ways to get in contact with us. Next slide, please. Please forgive our amazing school pictures here, but you're going to hear from our awesome support team. This is me, Jessica Swindle. I'm your principal. You're going to hear from Sari Hedges, our assistant principal, tonight. She's going to talk to you about all kinds of good things. Next slide, please. And these are some rock stars from our office. Debbie Small is our head secretary. And if you have called Metzger at all over the summer, I bet you have talked to Debbie or Mario, who's doing our interpretation on the other line. Coco is one of our secretaries also. She is ready to help you with whatever you need and is bilingual in English and Spanish. Next slide, please. You're going to hear tonight from Emma Wagner, who is our school psychologist and counselor, and you'll hear about all the ways she can help you this year. And this is Mario, our family liaison. Next slide, please. Excuse me. All right. Joyce Hayner and Jezebel Centeno are our incredible literacy specialists. We will hear from them tonight, and you'll learn all about how much Metzger loves reading. Next slide, please. All right, now to the most important stars of our show. We are going to pass it off to our kindergarten teachers who are going to introduce themselves and tell you what they love about kindergarten. Katie Sharwath.
Hey guys, I'm Katie Sharwath. I am so excited about this year with your kindergarten student. I'm just going to start off with a story. It's why I love kindergarten so much. One year I walked into my classroom and I got the kids settled and we were starting our day and all the kids were at the carpet and one of the kids raised their hands and said, Miss Sharwath, did you brush your hair today? And so that is why I love, there are so many things that I love about kindergarten, but there are moments like that that just, they're so honest and they're so sweet. and they just love you no matter what. So I'm excited about this year, and thanks for joining us tonight. I am going to give it to my teaching partner, Lori Stoldryer.
Hi, everyone. I am so excited to start this year, and I cannot wait to meet all of you. One of my favorite things about kindergarten is definitely when that light bulb clicks on and they bring me a book and they say, Mrs. Stoldryer, can I read this to you? Oh my gosh. Some people think pizza is the best. No, it is definitely when they bring you a book and read it to you. I just love it. I can't wait to meet you. I'm going to pass it on to Maestra Romero.
Hi. My favorite part, obviously, have a lot of things, but it's when they learn how to read and count in Spanish. Mi parte favorita de kinder y de verdad de compartir con mis estudiantes es cuando aprenden a leer y a contar en español. Ahora el turno. Next one is Maestra Villanueva.
Hi, everybody. I am Veronica Villanueva. Don't worry, they will learn how to say Villanueva. I have been doing this a long while, and my favorite part, it's hard to just pick one part, but you know, they treat us like we're rock stars. So how can I turn that down? So I will pass it on to Selena.
Selena is getting her video and microphone on. We're having just a tiny bit of technical difficulties. We can scoot right on. Selena comes to us from the international school, and she is going to be amazing this year. I'm so excited. And Selena, as soon as you get your sound to work, we will have you, we'll just go right back and have you take your turn. So we are so excited, and we love these amazing puppets. Selena has taught pre-K, kinder, and first grade, and we're so happy to have her here at Metzger. All right, next slide, and we'll come back to Selena as soon as it works. All right, now we're gonna go over the daily schedule for your kindergartner, and I know there's lots of questions about this. And one thing that's a tiny bit funky tonight is that I have you split into AM and then PM, and I'm gonna try and walk you through this. I also want to assure you that in the Friday newsletter, you're gonna have a PDF of this in English and Spanish, all in a nice printable format, or something you can store on your desktop, okay? So we have a schedule for Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday that is always the same. And on Wednesday, our schedule is different. Also, and I'll hit this later, the first week schedule is a little different because our teachers are connecting with all of their families and they'll be in one-on-one meetings. I'll tell you more about how the first week is different in a little bit. But on a normal week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, your child is going to get logged on every day at 8:30, and they're going to start with their classroom meeting with their teacher. They're going to get to see all of their friends, and our teachers are going to run a morning meeting, a classroom meeting where children check in and share about their feelings. They check on each other, and we have a social emotional learning. This is where we might learn about how to solve problems with our friends, how to identify feelings and emotions in ourselves and in others, how to deal with disappointment, how to deal with just big feelings. Because when you're 5, you have big feelings about things. Sometimes we still have big feelings when we're older, but this is a place where it's really about connection, and that's happening 5 days a week, every single day at 8:30 in the morning. Now, if you miss that time, and you can't log on at that time, we will record it so your child can watch it later. But our preference, what we really want, is for every child to be present in that meeting so that they can share and participate and just feel that even though we're physically far apart, we can be together as a community every single day. So you'll see that Wednesday has a different schedule. And on Wednesdays, that's the only interactive time, live time with your teacher. They're going to be working really hard, preparing lessons and working with their teams during Wednesday's time. So Wednesday class meeting, that's the only live time. But Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, after class meeting, your teacher will tell your child to take a break. go do some jumping jacks, go run around, go find something, go get a snack, and then they will come back and start reading class. This will be a fun, interactive experience where your child will learn reading through chant, through song, through doing motions to go with the sounds of letters. And then they will start to apply that. And the fun thing about kindergarten, like Maestra Romero said, is we will learn to read this year. Maybe your child's already a reader, and maybe they don't know any of the letter sounds. That's the beautiful thing about kindergarten, is you just send them to us, and we will embrace them and love them up and turn them into super readers by the end of the year. During this time, you can see from 10:05 to 10:50, after we have this interactive whole group lesson, some kids will move to independent online work where the teacher's on there, but they might be writing their letters, they might be listening to read a story, and some kids, they might get pulled into small groups. We have teachers who will run small groups for reading. We also have amazing instructional assistants who will run small groups for reading, but expect your child to be on and learning during that time. At 10:50, we have another break. Super important. Also, I just want to say, outside of break times, your teachers will be facilitating physical movement and interaction for your child during that time. So when you're thinking about your learning environment that you're setting up, we want to make sure our kids can have their iPad set up so that their bodies could still move and they can watch that. Maestra Villanueva is going to talk a little bit more about their learning environment later tonight. Next slide, please, Thor. All right, 11 o'clock, math time. We are going to build strong number sense. This is a time that you might see some calendar, you might see counting, you might see learning about what numbers look like. You'll learn what a decadeck means and all these other fun things. We will do our beginning number sense in our math lessons here. And again, there'll be time for small group and independent practice of these skills till noon. From 12 to 12:30 is your lunch time. We shut down, we go eat lunch. We will have lunch delivery by bus routes that happen later in the afternoon, where you'll have meals. If you get lunch service, you'll have meals packed and ready for the next day. And I'll explain more about that when Emma Wagner is on. But we will be delivering lunches on bus routes, and we'll have lunch service at Metzger Elementary School. Then from 12:30 to 1, our teachers will be teaching science or writing or social studies. And this could look like a new live lesson, or they may be working on something from the day before and the teacher's just encouraging them. Practicing writing those letters can be definitely something that we would be working on. Also, all kinds of fun science, potentially even a cool art literacy lesson. We have an amazing art literacy program. Lots to look forward to there. That is the part of the schedule that is all the same for every child. But after 1 o'clock, you have specials, and some kiddos will have more instruction. So if you are learning English as a second language, you might have a fun live small group. If you are on an IEP and receive additional services, you may have small group at that time, and you will get communication from your teacher and your learning specialist about the special group schedule that you are in. The other things that for our specials, that's PE and music. Right now, we believe and we think we'll have 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off, so that your child can really spend 2 weeks in PE and then 2 weeks in music. And we have incredible specialists that are going to be teaching those lessons and helping your child to develop an awesome love of music, especially the Metzger spirit songs, which I can't wait for you all to hear. Okay, the school day ends at 2:30. Know that we'll have lots of apps if you want to do continued learning. Raz Kids is an awesome app to use. We have a really cool library resource in there that your child can do additional practice as well. If you have any questions about the schedule, please insert them in Q&A. Again, this will come out this Friday in our newsletter. I think the most important part is, while we know schedules are different, we would love, love, love for your child to be present for live instruction as much as we can, because that is, when you're a kindergartner, that's the best stuff. And they can have the interaction, they can have the immediate feedback and the praise from their teacher, and they can see their friends. All right, next slide, please. Some important notes. We already said every child throughout K through 5 will have the exact same schedule, 8:30 to 1. And then after that, You'll get direction from your teachers about when to do PE and music. And then again, if you have any specialized groups that your child's a part of, you'll know that schedule too. Important to remember that if and when we meet the metrics for community COVID spread and we open the building and come teach school at Metzger, your child's schedule will change. It is not possible to have every child do reading at the same time, math at the same time, lunch at the same time, because we need to staff lunch and recess and all those things. Also, getting to school on the bus may mean we start school a little earlier or a little later than we have it when we're now all online. Okay, but we'll be sure to communicate all of that. Next slide, please. And I'm going to pass it to Sari Hedges.
Hello, I'm Sari Hedges. I'm the assistant principal at Metzger, and we are excited to invite you to our supply and iPad pickup. We have a special pickup for our kindergarten students on Wednesday, September 9th, 8 to 10 a.m. We would love to see you then. Our kinder teachers are hoping to be there as well to wave to you. We have special Metzger tote bags and at-home learning supplies to give you, and we will check out iPads to each of you as well. If you are unable to come, we can also deliver your supply bag. Please just let us know. If you are able to join us during that time, we would appreciate if you're able to drive up with a paper sign in your vehicle that clearly lists your student's name and your teacher's name. If you have any questions, email us at Metzger office or give us a call. Next slide, please. The iPad will be a very important part of your at-home learning, and there may be some needed iPad support. So we want to let you know that we are your first step if you have any problems at all with technology. Please email us. We will triage what happens and get you the service that you need. Some things to consider about the iPads. We really recommend keeping it charged at all times, especially when not in use. We recommend finding a very safe and dry place to keep the iPad when not in use. And should we return to school in that hybrid model, we'll ask that students take their iPad to school and bring it home every day, and maybe even using that Metzger tote bag that we'll be giving you next week to do that. Internet needs. This will be a critical part of at-home learning. So if you need any help at all, we do have some options for a free year of Comcast, as well as some hotspots that we can provide for you. So again, just let us know if you have any needs of device care or Wi-Fi or iPad support. And I'm going to pass it back to Principal Swindle. Next slide.
Oh, sorry, there we go. All right, so when we talk about kicking off the school year successfully, we have already mentioned that we are going to have special Kindergarten Connect meetings, which we are doing K through 5. So Metzger Family Connect, we're calling it this year. But this is when you have your teacher all to yourself. And during that time, sorry about that, during that time, you are going to have time to actually walk through how to get on your app, on your iPad, how to access the lessons, how to submit work, all these unknowns that, honestly, as a parent myself, this would be a time when I can really get comfortable with what is expected, when does our family need to be ready for school, and how much support do I need to give my child throughout the day. We know that in the beginning, our children are going to need a lot more support, and then honestly, they learn technology much faster than adults. This is my experience. And pretty soon they'll be off and running. Of course, we know that many of you are working from home at the same time. Some kiddos might be in childcare settings, and some children have stay-at-home parents sitting with them, stay-at-home grandparents with them. If you can be present for your child and attend this meeting, you're going to have a great conversation with your teacher about how we can individually support you in partnering with us to support your child. Look for a communication from your teacher. They'll be sending those out, and they will have a way to schedule your independent meeting with them where they will go through all of that. Every family will have a basic needs check-in. We want to make sure that everyone has Wi-Fi access, everyone has any other supports you need, food, clothing, housing assistance. you name it, our family liaison and our office team is here to help with all of those things. So I hope everyone feels really rested and secure in knowing that you're going to have a full meeting with your teacher where they can walk you through all those important details. That also means that the first week is very different. And we'll say this a lot of times, so this is just my first time, but Monday the 14th and Tuesday the 15th, the first 2 days of school, will not be normal. You will only have classroom meeting. Your child will just come to classroom meeting, that 40-minute time slot, 8:30 to 9:10, I believe. They will have a first day of school experience and a second day of school experience and get to know their class. And then after that, they may have one assignment that goes with it, but they will not have their full day. It's kind of a slow start for kindergarten, which is honestly a really nice thing. Teachers will be meeting with parents. Wednesday is our classic Wednesday schedule, which is still just the SEL, just the morning meeting with the classroom. And then they're off the rest of the day. Thursday the 17th, the full schedule begins. And you'll hear communication from me about this. I'll definitely remind you the night before. But Thursday the 17th, your child will attend that full schedule of morning meeting, reading, and math. Okay, next slide, please. All right, I'm going to pass it to Maestra Villanueva.
Okay, if you guys can see, this slide talks a little bit about a bunch of different things, but the main topic is setting up a home learning environment. There's a couple of pictures here that you guys can see. It would be, if you could, it would be nice to just have a place where they have a table set up where they have all the supplies that they need. Like we mentioned, they'll be getting the Metzger bag, and there's going to be, you know, lots of supplies and goodies in there. That would be great to just have. So you got all that in one place. Again, if you guys need help with any of the supplies, please let us know. And those are things that we can get for you. But we want to cut down just time for them. Oh, I got to grab a pencil. I got to grab scissors. So they have everything. I mean, there's a couple ideas there of what you guys can do to have, you know, things in place for them. Another suggestion would be, you know, they're going to be on a camera viewing the teacher. So I don't know if you can kind of see the little boy looking at the screen. If maybe you can have them reverse where the wall is behind them. As you can see, like there's background noise. There's also noise to consider, but then there might be people passing. And, you know, I know it's hard for little ones to pay attention and keep focus, but maybe if they just had a flat background, that would eliminate distraction. Or another option could be, you know, you have a poster board and just things that they can see, visuals, schedules, so they kind of know what's going to happen first and what's going to happen next. But the teachers as well, like we would hold things up for them to see. Let's see. You can also, before they go on for the day, you can also remind them of rules. Those are things that we can get out to you. For example, you know, to mute their microphone, or, you know, they're coming to school ready to learn. So they can't have any food. They can't have any toys. They have to kind of pretend that they are in school, to avoid distractions. Make sure they use the bathroom. Make sure they're dressed appropriately for school, you know, shirt, pants, bottoms. What else? Other rules are like if they have to raise their hand, you know, they can kind of do this. And those are things that we'll talk about, but, you know, you can kind of review those before they're about to start school. The other important thing too is, you know, if you're there kind of helping navigate, try not to hover and give them the correct answer. It's okay if they give the wrong answer. They're learning, especially in TWI, they're you know, they're learning in another language. So it's okay if they make mistakes. It's no big deal. So just let them be. It's okay. They'll be fine. And then just kind of create a routine. That's the second bullet point is, you know, if you can, maybe this, since we're already in September, start, you know, we get up at 7, we brush our teeth, we get dressed. So maybe if you guys can just start with a routine already, so they're kind of just used to, you know, doing what they're supposed to be doing. we also talked about they'll be using headphones at some point. So make sure you have those, maybe one with a microphone. Again, if you need help, the school can help supply those. And then, I'm sorry, along with the routine, dinner and lunch and just, going to bed at a decent time, make sure they get enough rest. That's very important. It's a longer day. We know that the beginning of kindergarten is a lot like preschool, and we always get the question of, I'm tired, I want a nap, what time do we go home? So just make sure they get plenty of rest. And then the last bullet is getting familiar. This is more for parents. You guys are going to be learning with your child how to navigate Canvas, the Florida Virtual. I know right now it looks like a lot, but we're also learning this, and we're going to take into account that they're kinder kids, and we can create the background of what it's going to look like when they log on. And, we're going to do our best to just give a few buttons or icons where they push, so no one's overwhelmed as far as to where to navigate, where to go. Again, don't be alarmed by looking at all these things. And these are things that we'll eventually talk to you about using. But just so you know, these are other apps and programs that we're going to use this year. So if you guys just have more questions, put them in the chat and I will pass it along now.
The social emotional learning is a very critical part of our education at Metzg. And you've already heard a bit about class meetings and how students will start from 8:30 to 9:10 every morning of the week in a class meeting. This is a time they can connect with each other, share their feelings, and really just get ready for the school day. We also use PAX as a way of connecting with each other. PAX is about bringing peace, productivity, health, and happiness to our school day. And that's often done through visual agreements or vision charts, where we talk about how do we want our time together to be? How are we going to make this a peaceful day? How are we going to be productive? What can we do to bring health and happiness to each other? Additionally, this year, we're bringing in teaching for tolerance, which is adding social justice standards. We're also bringing in CASEL competencies, which are these 5 skills that will be brought in cyclically throughout the school year. So teachers will be adapting their class meetings to include these different components in different lessons and activities as they progress through the year in their class meetings. And I'm going to pass it now to Emma Wagner, our school counselor psychologist. Next slide.
Hi, everyone. I'm Emma Wagner, like Sari said, our school counselor and psychologist. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about my role during distance learning and how I'm here to support parents and teachers and students. If we were in the school building, you might see me walking around, popping into classrooms and supporting kids and teachers. And I'm doing the same thing, just online now. Some ways that this might look might be individual check-ins with your student. It might be some groups focused on additional social skills or those social emotional skills that they're working on in class. I'm just getting some extra support in that. I'm here to partner with parents and families to support your child's behavior at home. And then also I might potentially connect families with outside counseling services as needed. Ways that you can connect with me are reaching out to your child's classroom teacher if you have any concerns, or you also are more than welcome to call or email me directly, and my contact information is there. And next slide, please. And I'm going to pass it on to Joyce Hayner.
All right. Hi, everyone. I am Joyce Hayner. I am one of the literacy specialists at Metzger Elementary, and I just wanted to pop on real quick to talk about pre-reading and early readers. And most of our kindergartners fall somewhere in that little definition of kids who are eager and ready to learn, and we just want to motivate them and get them ready to read. Some easy things that we can do are just play word games with our kids, fun rhyming, show them interesting books and talk about them, use big words to increase their vocabulary so that they have more language. We want to play games with them, like tell me the first sound in cat, and then have them tell us the first sound in cat. Just fun little things that we can do at home that that will help kids build their foundational skills. And I wanted to show you a couple other things that we have that I have this Daniel Tiger book because I have a 3-year-old who loves Daniel Tiger. And one of the things that we can do at home is just expose our children to print. Talk about the pictures. What's going on? Oh, look at these words. How do we read? What direction do we read? Can we use our finger? Can we use a pen? How are we going to read this together? Let's talk about what's happening. There's a ton that we can do with just reading books. One thing you'll see in your Metzger bag that comes home are these fabulous books called decodables. And they're paper books and they look like this. Sometimes they have a lot of words, sometimes they don't have a lot of words, but they're meant to get us going with reading with our children. So what we're gonna do at school is we're gonna give highlighters and we're just gonna have fun. We're gonna start at the beginning and we're gonna read the words together. We're gonna do a my turn, a your turn. We're gonna do a choral read, which is when we read all together. There are so many different ways that we can read these fun decodables or fun regular text like trade books together, and we are going to help your kids learn that. So when they come up to you and say, hey mom or dad or grandma, can we read Daniel Tiger? Oh, that's my turn. Oh, let's popcorn read and I get to say this time. Or when I stop, you put the word in. There's just so many fun ways that we can motivate our kids to want to read. And that's what our goal is as Metzger teachers who love reading, because we really do love reading. We have a big priority at Metzger to get our kids exposed to all kinds of books and all kinds of text. And it's just fabulous. You'll see a lot come home. Next slide, please. Okay, so one thing I want to push is this 20 minutes of reading at home with your child. Now that can be sitting down next to each other and reading, partner reading, popcorn reading, choral reading, and you'll hear all about that because I know those are big teacher words sometimes. It can also be just playing a rhyming game, or let's sing a song together. Anything that exposes your child to more words and language and print and stories are things that we really want to do and promote to help them be better readers when they go on to 1st grade and go on to 5th grade and go on to high school and college, because that's our main goal at Metzger, is to get these kids reading, to get these kids loving reading, and to give them everything that they need to be successful when they go to college and graduate. And one more push. Just grab a book and just talk about it and look at the pictures even and read the words for 20 minutes a day. And next slide, please. Oh, this is Katie Sharwath.
Yep, it's my slide. Hey guys, I'm Katie Sharwath, one of the kinder teachers. We're just talking about extra practice at home. So this is like homework, things that you can do outside of school hours. You are going to get this lovely dry erase pocket. You can slip papers in very easily. Where'd my expo marker go? Here it is. And you can actually write on it and then erase it. And so then you can reuse this sheet of paper as many times as you want. You're also going to get these 2 workbooks. So for example, remember, this is extra practice like homework. If your child just struggles with the letter M, you don't want to use this with a pencil because your child may want to do it over and over and over again. Now this is in a little nice book, so you may not want to tear it out and put it in here. So what you can do is you can just set it on top and they can use their dry erase marker and they can erase and they can practice as many times as they want. And like I said, there's also a practice book for math. And I just wanted to show this as well. You're going to get these nice little pockets, but a slip cover, a page protector sheet works pretty well too. So if you can't find it and you've got one of these laying around, you can use this. I have found in the past that if I used colored expo markers like pink and green and blue, for some reason, I don't know, it may just be me, I don't know, they don't erase very well. I have found that black works a lot better. So extra practice, you can use both of those workbooks after hours, on the weekends. We also want you to practice fine motor skills. We do that a lot in the classroom, and we're going to do that with your kids. They may have time to do that, but using scissors, or even just playing, if you have the game Operation, where they have the little tweezers and they're using those fine motor skills. Those are really great to practice at home. And Joyce already talked about reading with your child, but asking questions and using your finger and letting them follow along. And why do you think that happened? Who were the characters? What's the setting? Asking all those really important questions and just talking and exposing them. Another great idea for the weekend or after school hours to practice for homework, just playing a simple board game. They're learning how to take turns. They're learning how to follow rules. They're speaking and listening. Those are all really, really great skills to practice at home. And of course, they're going to see their classmates, when we have time live. But, just talking with your child, if you're outside and a plane passes by in the sky, talk to your child. How fast do you think that plane's going? Who do you think's in that plane? What color is that plane? Just start asking those questions and getting them to talk is really, really important. Okay, next slide, please.
Okay. I'm Jessica Centeno. I'm your literacy and language specialist. And I'm gonna talk about 2 instructional practices that we have in place at Metzger. One of them is the co-teaching model that we have it for all our students, K-5, and the Spanish-English biliteracy transfer that is only for our students in the two-way immersion program. And the reason, kind of the why we're co-teaching at Metzger. So we move away from the pull-out model where our multilingual learners were out of the classroom to receive English language development classes, or ELD. And since co-teaching is the least restrictive environment, we can maintain classroom community, we improve our school climate, and we value the culture in our building. As a co-teacher, I am scaffolding, sheltering, weaving language instruction. We emphasize the usage of oral practice routines and language instruction across all content areas. And we do it in a meaningful way with a specific purpose, and of course, aligned with the English language proficiency standards, which we know it benefits our students as they are able to reach content, because that's what we want. And I'm really excited about this work and passionate because it brings the skills and expertise from both the classroom teacher, that they bring the content, and as a language specialist, we collaborate to create and deliver the lessons. So probably you will see my face working besides either Veronica Villanueva, Maestra Villanueva, or Lourdes Romero, Maestra Romero. And so again, you will see my face. And now I'm gonna move to the right side of the slide, and that will be more for our two-way immersion program. And, and that's the Spanish-English biliteracy transfer, or as it says, SEBT. And what it offers is an instructional approach that help the students use what they already know in Spanish to transfer it to English, or vice versa, from English to Spanish. And sometimes you will see kind of this hand gesture of like a bridge, because we're gonna explain and use gestures as a visual cue for when to bring one concept in Spanish and when to bring it in English, and use both. And again, sometimes the SEBT has 3 key elements: the instruction in Spanish, and the bridging, and also the instruction in English. That is a shift in our program because in the past, we used to wait until 3rd grade for have a more formal instruction in English. And now we start way earlier. And if you see on the slides, you can, that's just a sample because we start with what is similar in both languages. For example, we have here punto final, so that will be a period. It's similar in both languages and we can start transferring those concepts. And then we move for the concepts that are doesn't exist or don't transfer from either language. Next slide, please.
Hi again. I am going to speak on behalf of Mario, who is translating for us. At Metzger, we have a basic needs team to support families with resources that you might need. During your connection meeting with your child's teacher, like Principal Swindle said, they're going to be asking every family if they have all their basic needs met and or if you need any support with resources. One of the most important is going to be Wi-Fi. And so if your family is in need of access to Wi-Fi, we can support you with that. And you can contact Metzger office, you can contact your child's teacher. There's also some more contact at the end of this slide. And part of our basic needs team is supporting families with food. So we have access to food boxes through a wonderful program called Pack with Pride, and then also access to clothing. Really anything that you need, let your teacher know, and we will work to support you through it. And I'm going to pass it back to Principal Swindle for some more information on lunch service.
Yes, so this year, and we'll get to PSO in just a minute, stay right there. This year, we are going to have our lunch service come around on our bus routes, and you will have more information about that. But you will be able to, if you qualify for free and reduced lunch, you will get free or reduced costs. You can also buy them, and they will come with packs with a breakfast and a lunch intended for the next day. So as Emma said, as Ms. Wagner said, we have a program called Pack with Pride, where every Saturday you can get a nice food box that will have Monday's lunch in it. And then we'll also have lunches coming around on the bus routes where your child can get them later in the afternoon after school and have them ready and in the house for the next day. So those will be on bus routes. We will also have a station set up at Metzger Elementary School. So if that makes more sense for you after school to walk down as a family and get your lunch and breakfast pack, or if your child can go with older siblings or any of those things, again, we'll communicate around that, but you will be able to either buy lunch or get free lunches if you qualify. And that's just another reminder to go ahead and do that free and reduced lunch application, as there are benefits to that. Okay, all right, now we will scoot to our PSO before we swing back to Selena.
Hi there, my name is Andrea Johnson, and I am the Metzger PSO president this year. I will have a 3rd grader and a 5th grader at Metzger this year. I also have a 7th grader and a 9th grader, so I've been part of the Metzger community for a very long time. If you are a parent or a guardian or a grandparent or whatever, you are part of the PSO. There's no requirement to fill out any sort of special application. You are just a member of the PSO, and we welcome you at all of our meetings. In previous years, PSO has been a big provider of some community events. We do dances and movie nights, a carnival, we do fundraisers, we put on the book fair and the jogathon. Things will look a little different this year, certainly this fall. We hope maybe in the spring to be able to do some more event type things. But this year we're going to be doing a lot of support for art literacy. You'll be getting in the tote bags that you pick up during supplies. You'll be getting art literacy packs that are ready so you can do art literacy lessons at home. We'll be supporting teachers just as we do during a regular year, and supporting families, working with Emma and Mario and the needs team for anything that you might need. Our next meeting is September 15th. It'll be a Zoom meeting at 6:30 p.m. and we'll have a link in the newsletter. And you can always visit our website for more information. We'll be getting it updated before school starts. And that's about it. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Andrea. And yes, we will make our PSO, our Zoom PSO meeting will be the most fun, we can guarantee, of any Zoom PSO meeting we've ever had. Thor, can we scoot back to slide 12 super fast? Selena Gutierrez, who is our amazing K1 TWI teacher, is ready to introduce herself and tell you what she loves about kindergarten.
Hi, everybody. My name is Selena Gutierrez. I'm going to be Maestra Selena this year for kindergarten and first grade, online all year. And one of the things that I like the most about kindergarten and in general working with kids is that they teach me things. So I remember in kindergarten, one of my kids taught me how to use the iPad in one of the applications that he used to do a lot at home about math. And I just love that. I love that they teach me things, that they smile with me. And I'm looking forward to this year. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you so much, Selena. Okay, Thor, you're amazing. Will you scoot back down? So at this time, we want to say thank you. If you'd like to stay on, we're going to talk more about our two-way immersion program, our bilingual program. You can see here's a list of contact info. If you head to the Metzger Elementary website, you'll find a staff list. I can't say it enough. Just email Metzger office, call Metzger office if you have any questions at all. We have a staff that are ready to answer your questions and connect with you. We know that this is not the way that you wanted to send your child to kindergarten this year, and this is not the way that we wanted to start a kindergarten year. But we want to assure you that we are going to make the absolute best out of it. We are going to love your kids, and we are going to make this a fun and engaging school year for your kiddo. We have our fingers crossed that we get everything healthy and safe in the community so that we can get our kiddos in the door and experiencing recess out on our playgrounds and doing assemblies at Metzger, because that's what we love. But until then, we can promise you a regular schedule with lots of fun, lots of songs, and lots of peers for your kindergartner to see and learn and have fun with. Okay, so thank you for joining us tonight. And now I'm going to scoot into two-way immersion program information. Next slide, please. All right, so TWI Specific Information. So our two-way immersion program in kindergarten, it's a very special situation because sometimes we have kids who have never heard Spanish before, and we also have kids who maybe have never heard English before. And so our two-way immersion classrooms are made up of half native Spanish speakers who usually speak Spanish at home and half native English speakers who usually just speak English at home. We also have a few kiddos who speak another language like Arabic or Chuukese at home. And so this is a really fun, exciting way to learn. Being online presents really specific challenges and needs that we've spent a lot of time planning and talking about. And the good news is that you have very experienced teachers who are quickly thinking about how to provide, we call it sheltering, which means lots of visuals, lots of gestures, lots of bridging so that your child can quickly understand in Spanish, start practicing simple words and phrases in Spanish, and you will be amazed at how fast they pick this up. The interactive instruction, having your child on time for their morning meeting, for reading, and for their content time, that's all going to be building their Spanish. There'll be a little bit of bilingual building, but that's really where they're going to get that interactive Spanish practice. Your math this year will be primarily in English. There'll be some bilingual teaching of the vocabulary and counting in both languages, but in their independent practice in math, you will see some English, more English this year than you would see in a typical school year if we were in the classroom. iStation is a Spanish curriculum that is interactive and made to be digital. So when we start out, your teacher will tell you when to do it. Your child will do an independent test assessment to see where their Spanish is. And this is so important that they do it by themselves because it's going to figure out exactly where they are with vocabulary, phonics, oral language production. It will put them right on their own track, and they will get to play games and they will get to hear stories just based on where they are. So remember that when it's time to do that iStation assessment to put them on their individual track, really important that you're there to help with technology, but never ever help them with the Spanish, because we want to make sure that they are really placed where they should be. So it'll be fun for your child, because we know that if they're in something that's a little too hard, that could be really frustrating for kids, and we don't want that. Other resources to support our bilingualism and biliteracy, Raz Kids is in English and Spanish, and that's an app where your child will be placed in their reading level, and they can click on these books, they can listen to them with visuals, and it highlights the word. Then once they're reading, they can record themselves reading, and they can answer comprehension questions about the story and earn stars. And so our kids really love those. It's also a way for your child to hear native Spanish speakers reading the story to them before they answer the comprehension questions. It has pictures that go with it. And it's a great app for having more Spanish. We will also have additional small group support. There's an amazing program called El Camino al Éxito. And so when we have children that go into groups of maybe 3 kids and 1 teacher, 4 kids and 1 teacher, we get so much language practice and so much vocabulary. And so if you are worried right now about supporting your child at home in TWI, please, please, please know that our teachers are going to make sure that you understand what you're being expected to do. Our messages about what kids are doing are going to be in both English and Spanish. We will have video supports available to you in both English and Spanish. And I promise you, I know it seems a little daunting in the beginning, but it really will be a really rich experience, and your teachers are there to help you every step of the way. Throughout the year, your teacher may be giving you more resources or ideas of ways to practice Spanish at home, but ultimately, if they just attend that school day, they're going to get a great amount of Spanish to make sure that they're really practicing that language and getting everything they need. And so let's see. So I was just going to answer, we had a Raz Kids, do they have a web browser based option? It's been mentioned before, and I discovered that the app is not compatible. So Brandy, that's a great question. I'm just live in the Q&A here. Your TTSD issued iPad, there will be times that it might be better to use the school device, because there are some apps that are going to be so much easier to use on the school device. And I know some folks have laptops or something else that they would want the child to use sometimes. I would say go ahead and pick up your TTSD iPad so that Raz or any other app is super easily accessible and your child does not have to log in or anything like that. And then we can have them on the other devices for things that work well. I do think Raz is compatible in the browser. And Jezebel might be able to tell me yes or no, because she's an amazing tech wizard. But I do think it's going to be easier for them to go right in their TTSD iPad, click on Raz. It looks like a little robot, and you'll see that. And then they'll log in, and their teacher will have them placed in about a 4-level range that would be books that will be good for them to read. So you won't have to say, gosh, should you go from A to Z? Your child will see, oh, D, E, F, G. Those are the levels that my child should be in, because the teacher says this is right where they should be. Okay, TTSD iPads, we are picking them up. That question just came up. We are picking those up at supply pickup for kindergarten. That is from 8 to 10 on, Sari, that is from 8 to 10 on Wednesday morning. Is that right, you guys? Just
Wednesday the 9th. Yes.
Wednesday the 9th from 8 to 10. We have every grade level, you guys, so I apologize. Wednesday from 8 to 10. Our kinder teachers will be waving from back with masks on. You'll get your Metzger bag, your iPad, your charger, your information about how to get logged in. And if you need school supplies, additional school supplies, we'll have packs of those ready for you. If you cannot make it to that time, you just talk to your teacher and we'll organize and make a way for you to either come at a different time or even we can, figure out how to drop it on the porch or just we will make sure that you have what you need to start the school year. Okay. All right. right, it looks like that's the end of our questions. If you have other questions after this is all over, don't hesitate to shoot an email to Metzger office. And we are so excited to welcome your child in the door this fall. We are going to have an amazing kindergarten year, even though it's starting in a little unconventional way. All right. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. And we will see you at supply pickup on Wednesday, September 9th from 8 to 10. Bye, everyone.